Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Some Kind of Podcast. This is a podcast where we entertain you by discussing what entertains us. I'm this week's host, Cody, and I'm joined, hopefully always going forward, by my three other lovely co-hosts, Steven.
Hey.
Tim.
Hello.
And until recently, our semi-permanent host, Christian.
Hello.
So we're back on a pseudo rotation because Christian done got himself a job, so his free time is no longer unlimited.
Limited, yeah. As if it was ever unlimited. Even
Well,
when he had free time.
To a degree. Just like my time wasn't necessarily unlimited during the pandemic, but, you know, it is what it is.
I had unlimited free time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to get into what if. We're going to get into Free Guy and...
The show, not the panic attack.
Yeah. And then me and Tim, probably before we get into the shows, me and Tim have a fun story to tell.
It's our anniversary.
Yeah, it's our anniversary. But before we do any of that, let's get some EXP grind out of the way. What have you gents been up to? Let's go with Christian. You started off, buddy.
Entertainment wise, a bunch of nothing other than seeing Free Guy and catching up on What If. I moved, so I kind of ate up the past week or so of my life.
Yeah, because you didn't do like a little move. Like you moved across the state.
You moved across the state, yeah.
It's better than the last move I did, which was, three states away. Yeah. So it's instead of doing 14 hours, it was only like 2.5. So it's an improvement. But
hey, you're in your new apartment. Looks nice. The walls look white.
Yeah. You have
from what you can see, which is the one light strip behind me.
You have the light strip walls that we all had in our apartments.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we like it here. Happy to be somewhat settled in. Still have a lack of furniture and can't find it anywhere since everywhere has like a wood shortage and appliance shortage and all sorts of shortages. So eventually we'll be fully settled in, and that'll be nice.
Oh, good.
Nice.
But yeah, not really much else besides that though.
Steven, what you been up to, buddy?
I really just been playing Call of Duty with y'all. I started the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles on the Switch.
Nice.
Finished the first case in it, just on the second one now. Can't really go into too much because pretty spoiler heavy.
Yeah.
Saw Free Guy last week with Cody, and I haven't really been watching anything. Like, I'm rewatching Workaholics, but it's in the background really.
I saw that you started playing The Last of Us Part 2. Did you not get into it?
I honestly forgot I started that. I mean, I got to Seattle as well.
Okay.
That's where you were at. Yeah. I mean, it's not bad, but since I already know the story, I'm really just playing it for the gameplay at this point.
Yeah.
But it's not bad so far.
Let's see. We'll go to me because Cody didn't introduce me.
You know what?
What have I been doing entertainment wise? I watched Free Guy, but I did that last week, so that's not anything new. Did I say I got my samurai at level 80 last week?
I don't remember. I think
so.
you did.
Oh well, if I didn't, I did. And I'm working on my paladin now, so I'm playing a tanking class, which is always super stressful. But hey, I mean, queue times are nice. I don't want to play.
You and Cody know who you're going to main going into the new expansion?
Oh, my scholar.
Probably my samurai.
I'll go back to it. I'm only leveling up their classes because Endwalker hasn't come out until November.
Yeah.
And I'm still subscribed, so I might as well play it. So
it was supposed to come out earlier.
It's November.
Yeah, it's mid-November.
Yeah.
Which I think I already have it pre-ordered.
I know I got the special edition pre-ordered.
I think I did. I can't remember. I've been doing that. Obviously, I've been watching the fan favorite here on some kind of game, some kind of podcast. We're some kind of gamers. This is some kind of podcast. Well, I guess it's only split between the two of us now. I've been watching Critical Role, obviously. on episode 38.
Nice.
So I'm getting kind of into more of the character arc kind of story subplots kind of thing, which has been kind of nice because I'm actually feeling more and more invested now in the actual story. And they kind of had like a poo kind of moment, shiitake mushroom moment in the last couple episodes. So I've been kind of getting more into it.
Nice.
So that's what I've been. Well, I've also been. That's what I've been watching, I guess. I've been playing. Well, I already talked about it. I'm all over the place. I've also been playing Tribes in Midgard with you guys, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit, maybe in more detail. But other than that, that's about it. So, Cody, what about you?
I don't know. What have I been doing? I played through Demon's Souls.
Did you finish it?
Yeah. I highly recommend it.
Now, is it going to make me want to break my controller?
It depends on how easily you get frustrated at a difficult game.
So let me, I guess, rephrase that. However long of the campaign it was, how many times did you die?
Oh, several.
Just several? Not like 100?
I mean, I honestly don't know. I don't think it tracks the number of times you die. Because there were times that like I strategically died in order to like farm souls or something. But like, I don't know. There's ways to play the game. Like the way I did it, I cheesed one of the harder enemies in the game and was able to get his armor and weapon really early, which helped a lot. But in all honesty, the bosses are the easiest part of the game.
Really?
They look really intimidating, but the bosses are the easiest part in the game. Now, there's like I think there's like 2 bosses that are legitimately difficult to fight no matter what you do. But for the most part, they're all fairly easy to kill. Especially if you do it right.
The only one I remember fighting from base game was a Tower Knight.
Yeah, and he's one of the harder ones to fight. There's really no cheese that you can do for him. You essentially just have to attack his ankles, and then he falls over, and then you attack his head. But he can, if you're in soul form, which is the form you're in when you die, he can one-shot you. So there are some very frustrating deaths in the game for sure, but if you enjoy dungeon crawlers, it's super fun.
Just turn it into NBA, break his ankles that way.
Yeah.
Play some street ball.
Yeah. So I played through that. I'm actually playing through on New Game Plus too. I started up Ghost of Tsushima. The director's cut.
That out?
Yeah. Friday. By the way, Christian, I know this is super off topic and nobody's going to know what I'm talking about, but when you load your PS4 save file, you can, because you were talking about you didn't want to overwrite your Legends account or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You can load in like your New Game Plus file and override the Legends file so you have the most up to date. And then you can also load in your old save file that's not in New Game Plus and not update the Legends file. It'll ask you if you want to overwrite Legends.
I did see that where it started asking, you're loading in the old file, which exactly story or Legends you wanted to overwrite.
Mm-hmm.
I think I kind of talked myself into just playing through the game again to get that second trophy from the New Game Plus, in addition to just kind of teaching myself how to play the game again. But I think this time I'm going to more mainline the game and just do story quest rather than all the extra side stuff.
Yeah. Now I have my New Game Plus, and then I have my file right before that has like 99 hours on it or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Is that the one you're going to go with for the new DLC?
Yeah.
Just so you can
that's
jump
the
right
one.
into
That's
it.
the one I platinumed everything on, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so that's pretty much all I've been doing. Obviously, I saw Free Guy with Steven, and we've been playing Trials of Midgar. which I guess we can talk about a little bit right now.
Sure.
For those who don't know, it's a game by what was it, Gearbox?
They're the publishers, yeah.
Publishers. Yeah. It's sort of a top-down.
Very Diablo-esque.
Yeah, it's like survival builder.
It kind of reminded me of a cross between Diablo and Age of Empires.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say it's like a survival roguelite.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like the actual like description for it.
Yeah, it has some like, I mean, it has some literal Souls element to it, but like the idea of like you collect souls to use as currency in the game.
So basically, what you're doing in this game is that you have to like it's I guess it's like the brink of Ragnarok or something, and you have to protect your village, which is built around this seed of Yggdrasil, and you have to give it souls to keep it alive.
Yeah,
and then you can collect and build weapons and scour the map, and you have to fight these things called Jotuns, which are like these big giant things every once in a while, or they're going to come and essentially wreck your village. But every night you have to go back to your village and defend it to protect the seed of Yggdrasil. I only played, this is the first session I played right before we came on this podcast, and we got to day 10. I don't know if that's like hard to do or if that was a challenge or whatnot, because it was just happened to be the first game that we played. We got all the way to day 10. It's a little confusing at first because it doesn't tell you how to do anything. I mean, it gives you a tutorial.
The tutorial literally doesn't help you at all.
But
it's like, hey, this button swings your sword. Good luck.
It's like, hey, you can build an axe by going to this person, and then good luck finding materials to make an axe.
Yeah.
So,
but
very hands off.
Yeah, it's very hands off. It doesn't hold your hand in any sense of the word.
But you guys have played other rounds before, right?
Yeah.
Not really successfully, but yeah.
I've everything that I know about it, I've just kind of learned on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas playing solo sessions or just joining random multiplayer sessions.
I feel like it's not a game I'd want to play solo personally.
It's rough. Yeah, I think for the long haul, definitely better to do multiplayer.
Yeah. It's nice that it has that solo option, but
I think it's something that you definitely, well, I mean, you can have up to 10 people in a world, so it's definitely built for multiplayer. And when you're fighting some of these Jotuns, you know, they have like 400,000 hit points. You're not going to be able to solo that.
No. But, yeah, it's pretty fun. I would recommend it if you have a larger friend group, for sure. Or if you just don't mind playing with a bunch of random people that you may or may not be able to talk to.
I will say from the first playthrough that I had, it sucks at first because you have absolutely no idea what you're doing and you're kind of just running around. And I still feel like I don't quite understand what I'm doing, more so because the map's a little complicated. But it's kind of addicting. I kind of want to go back and play more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think one of my grievances about the game is the terrain. I don't know if you guys have gotten this has gotten easier for you at all, but it's kind of difficult to tell. I mean, there's a construction mechanic to it where you can, like in Fortnite, build ramps and platforms and everything to travel across the otherwise, I guess, deadly water, go up cliffs and things like that. But it's really kind of when you're trying to get to point that's like not unveiled on the map, and you're like trying to find a way around this mountain. It's really difficult, and it takes a lot of trial and error.
Yeah, the map is a little weird to navigate, but that and the whole like building aspect is also super weird. Whereas like you can craft stuff in the game, but you can't craft anything unless you're in the village, which I guess isn't too big of a deal, but it's such a big inconvenience.
Yeah, it sucks if you're like really far away from like a fast travel point and you have to like, well, all my stuff's broken, so I guess I gotta run back to the village.
Yeah, if there were like workbenches or like other forgers that you could find out in the world that are like, hey, since you're out here, I'll build you something.
Yeah, I know. Like, obviously, this is still like the game is brand new. It only came out like I think a week or so ago. And it's only like a $20 or $30 game, so it's not like AAA title or anything like that. I don't think. I mean, I guess it's published by Gearbox, so it is and it isn't.
Yeah, I can't remember who the actual like developers are though, because their studio does not sound familiar at all.
No, but for what I paid for it and what I'm getting out of it, it definitely seems worth it. And it seems like because I watched all the videos and whatnot on the PlayStation Network before I bought it.
Yeah.
It seems like they're still open to like feedback from players, and B, that it's going to be kind of like an evolving kind of thing as like seasons progress and whatnot. So maybe down the road they will patch in something where you can like either craft or like have like a workbench on the fly or something like that.
Yeah, I will say, speaking of that too, I think this is probably the first game I've played that's just given you a battle pass for free.
Yeah.
I feel like they're very generous with their stuff. It's just unlocking some of it's a little.
And it's only $20. Like it's
yeah.
For what
I mean,
get,
you can pay. I think you pay $30 for like the
deluxe or whatever,
deluxe,
which is what I got.
I didn't because I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't, because when I first played it, I was like, I'm glad I didn't spend more than $20 on this. But now that I played it, I kind of wish I did. But I know
you still can.
Yeah, you can go to the store and pay the extra $10 and unlock the part.
Just to give them credit, the developer is Norsefell. It looks like it's a fairly new studio out of Montreal.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is their first IP, I think they're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah,
they did really well.
Like, I haven't noticed any like real kinks or bugs or anything in the game so far.
Yeah,
I only played the one session, so I can't really compare. But
yeah, it's not bad so far.
Yeah, so far so good.
Good art style.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
the
do.
only thing that bothers me, and I guess like you were saying, Cody, when we were playing, you get used to it, is that I don't like you can't move the camera. But that just could be because I'm so used to having every game where you can move the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's why I haven't typically enjoyed games like Diablo.
Yeah, as Steven said, it's like Diablo. I guess in Diablo you couldn't move the camera either, so maybe I'm being too picky.
Yeah. So
I love Diablo.
I definitely don't play many top-down games like that. Yeah. I know Hades is another top-down that's kind of like it.
I tend to avoid them unless it's like a pixel game like Stardew or something.
Yeah. This one, it doesn't bother me as much.
Yeah, for some reason, like I'm weirdly okay with it.
Yeah. Could just be that I'm just not used to it and I have to get reallocated to it.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so it's me and Tim's anniversary.
Yeah, woo! 3 years, bud.
Yeah, 3 years.
That's an inside joke.
So it's the 10-year anniversary that me and Tim got stuck in Hawaii.
No.
I know.
Okay.
And I said it that way because it was technically in Hawaii. And people give us crap. They're like, "Oh, you were stuck in Hawaii. Oh, you poor thing." We were stuck in an airport,
Honolulu International Airport,
for 6 days.
Yeah, and then the 7th one we spent in San Francisco.
Yeah, and the 7th one was in San Francisco International. So to set the story up, our buddy Johnny was stationed at Pearl Harbor at the time. And we were like, yeah, let's go visit him. But really, I mean, it was more than just like...
It was an excuse to go to Hawaii.
Yeah, like...
It was like 100% like, hey, I have a friend who's in Hawaii. You know, it'd be crazy if we went there and visited him. And it was just like one of those things where like, oh yeah, ha ha ha, wouldn't that be funny? Yeah, and then we did it. So at the time, my dad worked for an airline, and we won't say which one for reasons. There's a variant of it running around.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Anyway, we were flying non-revenue, which essentially, layman's terms, means you pay the tax on the ticket. You don't actually pay for the ticket; you just pay the tax. So, like, Tim's ticket was like $200 because he wasn't a child of the employee, and mine was like $160 round trip.
Yeah,
to and from
and back.
To and from Hawaii.
The only thing about that is that does not guarantee you a seat.
Yeah, so that
only guarantees you a way there.
Essentially, it's if there's a seat available, you can get on the plane. That's how it works. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to point out that I'm a good friend. Tim had never flown before.
I had flown once.
Okay, but never this far.
No. I'd flown to Dallas before this.
And so we were in the airport in Atlanta. We had to drive to Atlanta. And it came time to get on, and there was a seat in first class that they offered me. And I was like, no, I'm going to sit with my buddy because he's a nervous flyer. So we sat in coach for the 8-hour flight.
Direct flight.
Yeah.
There.
And then we got to Hawaii, and it was great. I think Johnny picked us up from the airport.
He did.
And we hung out for that day. And we may have hung out one more time while we were there.
I mean, he's also was stationed in the Navy, so he didn't have a lot.
Yeah, that was the big problem, is that he was working all the time. So we didn't even really get to make it to Pearl Harbor. We wanted to, but like all the tours were full, and Johnny couldn't exactly come get us, and he was going to be working the whole time. So it really just didn't fall into place.
But anyway, we went to a luau.
Yeah, we went to a luau, the zoo. We went to where they filmed 50 First Dates, the aquarium.
We were there for about 5 days.
Yeah, it was 5 days.
We were supposed to be there. We were supposed
to be there for 5 days, and we had a great time. We had a hotel that was like 2 blocks from the beach. It was the perfect temperature at all times. If it
rained, it was like maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it felt great. Like it was literally paradise.
And I'd also like to point out at this point in the story that Cody and everyone around me, well, not so much Cody, but like everyone around me and Cody were like, oh, we're worried about you guys getting there. And I was like, I'm more worried about getting back, but okay.
See, I didn't have that. All I had was, you guys should go. It's going to be a great experience.
That was the other thing, is that it was that, and you guys absolutely need to go.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great experience. And for what it's worth, minus what we're about to talk about, it was a great experience.
Yeah, it was.
And everybody should go to Hawaii.
Pay for a ticket.
Pay for a ticket.
So the thing about Hawaii, it is
August.
smack dab in the middle between mainland USA and Japan and Eastern Asia and Australia. And because of that, it is a world hub. Essentially, if people from the United States are trying to get to Japan, most likely they fly through Honolulu International and then to Japan or China.
Or if they're coming in to America, they stop
in Hawaii and
U.S. Customs and then go to the mainland.
Exactly. Also, I should mention, we went in like the late middle-ish of August, which is when everyone goes to school. And if you don't know anything about Hawaii, is that most of the people that live in Hawaii don't go to Hawaii University, because
they go to like L.A.
Yeah, they go to like LSU and schools in mainland.
LSU is not okay. Go ahead.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, mentioning schools. They go to like LSU and Ohio. I know people go to Duke. And they go literally all over the mainland USA, because Hawaii University isn't. It's like our version of Western University in North Carolina. Like, it's not like a big fancy school.
Yeah.
And so everyone and their mother is trying to get out of Hawaii to go to school. And conversely, there's a bunch of people from like California that are like, oh, I want to go to school in Hawaii, and they're coming in. And their families are coming with them, so their families are trying to get back. And then, of course, you have the tourists from Eastern Asia coming through Hawaii to get to the, North America, South America. Great time when you're flying non-rev and you're trying to get home.
So needless to say, there were no seats.
Yeah. So
for 6 days.
I should also point out, when we got there, shortly after arriving, my duffel bag ripped and broke and was useless. And I had to get a new one. So we were shopping around. This was like day 3. And I found a bag that would fit, in the overhead as a carry-on.
That's the other thing. You have to have carry-on.
Yeah, you have to have carry-on to fly non-rev. And I I found one, a very bright red floral bag. And I was
You
like,
still have that?
it's in my mom's closet, I think. So I was like, you know what? I need a bag, whatever. We're in Hawaii. What does it matter? So we did that. And then while we were there, my sister was collecting these like crystal things that you sit on like an LED base and it shines light through it. And it had like, like a
They were
picture.
really popular in the early 2010s.
Yeah, they had like a picture laser etched in it, and so I found one that had like dolphins and it had Hawaii in it.
Those things are cool.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. I actually just recently got one for my mom. One of our dogs passed away fairly recently, so I got one of him. But so my sister wanted one, so I got her that, and my mom really wanted a ukulele from Hawaii, so I found this bright pink floral ukulele, and it fit in the carry-on with all my clothes, so it was fine. Now, when you get to the airport, if you've ever flown, especially through Honolulu International, if they pull you aside to check your bag, they don't just keep sending people through. That line stops, and they check your bag. Well, we're sitting in there, and a big block of crystal looks really weird on an x-ray. So they check my bag. This sets up later. So they open they're like, is this your bag? And I'm like, yep, that's my bright red flowery bag. And they open it, and then they pull out the crystal, and they look at it, and they're like, is this what set it off? And they're like, yeah. And then, for no reason at all, they pull out the pink ukulele, and then they just stare at me. And I'm like, yeah, I bought that. Meanwhile, again, they don't keep sending people through. The whole line is scowling at me because I'm the one that's holding it up, or laughing because I'm a big guy with a little pink ukulele holding everybody up. So that was fun.
Sounds like a Gabriel Iglesias story.
Yeah.
It really does.
So we get there, and yeah, long story short, we can't get on the flight. Right? There's this
Any of them, because we can get on any one.
So
to try to get back.
We missed a flight. We couldn't get on it, so we have to go to the next one. And we did that all day. Couldn't get on any flight. So we had to spend the night in the airport. Well, the thing about that airport,
yeah.
The terminals are beautiful. They're furnished, they're comfy, everything's like carpeted, even the walls are carpeted, like it's all very cozy. They close that off at night. They don't let you stay in there. You have to stay in like the main portion of the airport. And if you've ever been there, it's concrete. There's no windows either. It's just open.
And in Hawaii at night is humid.
Yeah, Hawaii at night is humid. And there are no comfy seats in that area. It's just flat wooden benches. Now, there were those like leather recliner massage chairs, but if you sat in one, the people, like the security guards that work at night, yell at you and tell you to get out of them. So we slept on benches for the first night. And then we did that for 2 more nights because we didn't get on a plane for 2 days after that. And then one of our parents got us a hotel room for a day, and we took a day off, and then we did it again for another like 2-3 days. And then another one of our parents got us a hotel room for a day, and we had another day off. And
mind you, we're only like low-level associates at the movie house at this time, so
yeah.
We really probably couldn't afford to have gone Hawaii in the first place.
Yeah, it was a bad idea.
Slowly going broke and missing work.
Yeah, we literally missed an entire paycheck, like work week.
Mm-hmm.
Or 2, actually. We missed an entire paycheck.
One was on purpose. The other one was
yeah. So we did that, and then we came back, missed another 2 days, and then my dad maxed his credit card and got us a flight on like United or something to San Francisco, where we switched our tickets from San Francisco to Atlanta. But we got stuck there for a night. Now I should mention about that floral bag and the crystal. Every time we had to go through security. Every day. And every single day, they pulled me out of line and checked that bag and showed everybody my bright pink ukulele. Every single day. It was a blast.
Mm-hmm.
So during this, we both kind of went sleep deprived and slowly crazy. I might share pictures of our Facebook posts.
By all means, go for it.
There's one in particular that we try to keep alive, where like I didn't even know Tim was doing it. Like I made a post like it's not looking good for flights or whatever, and then Tim literally spammed it for like 10 minutes and was just saying random things.
It was things I was hearing or thought I was hearing from other people saying while I was around me that I thought was hilarious.
So I'm just going to read a couple. It was, I thought everybody was eating the chips. Are we going to Vancouver? Is mommy going to Vancouver? I will wipe the feet for one time only. Please locate yourself. I'm looking for the crazy Baltimore one, Hawaiian. We go dancing.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on and on. I know at one point me and Tim both heard somebody on their phone walking past us saying banana over and over again.
I swear to you, he just was like banana, 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 banana. I swear to you.
That's what I
heard.
I heard it too. We both looked at each other and went, did that man really just have a conversation going banana, 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 banana?
Before, I mean, I know we're kind of wrapping up the story here, sort of, and I don't want to take up the whole entire time of this podcast because we could probably do a whole podcast talking about this. You, Cody, have to tell the story about the family you sent to Japan.
Oh, I was going to avoid this.
Nope. No. You have to tell the story.
Okay, so
there were other people that were stuck
there. There were other people stuck there, by the way. Yeah, it wasn't just us. There were other employees of other airlines in the same airline trying to get home because they were literally doing the same thing we did. And by like day 4, I had gone from like my normal, like I'm a pretty nice guy. Right? And I switched that off.
You know, whatever makes you sleep at night.
I switched that off. And this Hispanic woman and her family of like 8 were getting friendly. I mean, they were
not anything. They just were.
It was like her kids, her mom, her dad, and like
her dad was like 70.
Yeah, and then like her brother or something like there was a lot of them. But they were having a big family like get together or something in Hawaii. But they all flew non-rev and with buddy passes.
So once you get on a flight,
sorry, Christian just held up a toy and a banana, and it was very weird. Anyway, so
once you get on a flight, if there's a connecting flight, you then have a seat.
Yeah. So, what are you doing?
Is that a banana holder?
I'm just for reference. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that, and I'm gonna show y'all what we see. Anyway, okay. This woman was like, like, hey, do you guys want to get, a hotel and we'll split it? Like, do you guys want to stay with us? And like, the offer was nice. She was, and I was like, we were like, no, thanks. And then she came back the next day and I was in another place. I was seeing red and I had this idea of, I need to whittle down the competition to get on these planes. I'm about to like turn Christian's camera off.
He's now eating a banana for reference.
Anyway, yeah, I was like, I need to whittle the competition down. So I told this woman, I hope she made it home. I told this woman, and look, it was a different time. I wasn't trying to be racist or anything, but they were all Hispanic, and I could have sworn I heard her say that like her family was from Mexico, and I was like, hey, you guys have passports, right? And they were like, yeah, we came, from wherever. And I was like, you could just go the other way. You could just go to Japan and then England and then get home. And then she was like, I didn't think about that. And then walked away. And then we saw her like 3 hours later and she was like, yeah, we got a flight to Japan. And I was like, good.
And then we never saw them again.
We never saw them again. So I really hope they made it.
That plane to Japan.
Yeah. But hey, it freed up 8 seats. We still didn't get on. But hey.
We made it back, though.
We did.
And what you were saying earlier, kudos to you, Cody, for being a good friend, because at one point we were having to have the discussion of like, look, if one of us gets on the plane, one of us is just going to have to go. We both just can't be sitting here. Like if we get on, one of us goes.
Yeah.
And Cody was going to probably get on before me.
Yeah, I had priority over you because
over
I was
he was the
dependent
son
of a child or of a employee or whatever.
And he did not leave me. He stayed.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah.
And
So.
your mom would never have forgiven me.
She would have. She would have understood. I mean, not initially, but she would have understood.
You left my son in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, that's the Hawaii story.
Yeah, it was really just a fight. It was just us not sleeping for several days and then finally getting home. And then we lived off $12 for about a month.
I swear to you, I did. I had to stay with a friend because they lived closer to work because I didn't have the gas.
Yeah, we didn't have money for gas. My dad gave us like $20.
And we ate Taco Bell, and that was the best Taco Bell.
Oh, dude, we got
the whole flight back. We're like, we're gonna eat this Taco Bell, and it's gonna be so good. And guess what? It was.
Yeah, he gave us like $20 for gas and $20 for food, and we spent all $20 at Taco Bell. And I'll have you know that was a feast.
This was back in the day when Taco Bell wasn't as expensive as it is right now.
Yeah,
like, it was like $2-3 for a burrito, and we spent that whole $20.
Yeah, well, we went all out. It was a lot.
Anyway,
yeah,
it's just the 10th anniversary, so we thought we'd tell the story from our perspective.
Yeah, 10 years.
But anyway, I hope that entertained you.
You guys want to go to Japan?
I do, but we're gonna buy tickets.
Yeah. More of a story. Go to Hawaii. Have a way off the island.
Yeah.
To be honest, I kind of don't want to go on an airplane ride with y'all anywhere after hearing this story.
Look, it's not
No,
like
it's funny that
Castaway.
It's funny that you mentioned that because literally 2 years later, Cody and I went on another trip to Atlanta, and he wrecked his car.
Steven and I will take a different plane.
Yeah. We're going to go without the variant.
I would also like to point out. That neither was my fault. Not the crash or getting stuck.
The getting stuck for sure. I mean, I was there obviously with the crash, but I don't remember what happened. Yeah, I know you got rear-ended, but I don't remember why.
Long story short, we were going down an off-ramp. There was zero traffic. I turned my head to make sure we were good because she was merging, and she slammed her brakes on, and I didn't have enough time to stop.
Yeah.
And so I rear-ended her.
Yeah. Me and Cody don't have the best record traveling, so maybe you guys should take another plane.
That's not fully true. We have had way
hey.
more successful trips than unsuccessful ones.
Yeah, we went to Myrtle Beach for Christian's bachelor thing, and all three of us were in the same car, and we were fine.
It was fine. We've driven to Raleigh a few times. We saw Muse a few times. No issues.
Yeah.
No issues.
When things go wrong, things go really wrong. Yeah. Anyway.
Buckle up, Steven. Because we're going to drive together to the beach.
Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, that's the Hawaii story. So to one of the main topics, let's talk about Free Guy. Okay. I know we've all officially seen it now.
Yeah, you guys went immediately after the last podcast was recorded.
Yeah. Actually, I think we did it before.
I'm curious because I watched it last.
We did it after.
Yeah. I absolutely loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, I went in expecting. I was like, all right, it's gonna be like standard Ryan Reynolds, like kind of like what you were saying, Tim. Like, gamers smell bad, live in mom's basement, haha.
Which there was a lot of that, but not.
Yeah. But that's what I was expecting. Just cheesy, just like, oh man, video games rule type of movie.
Channing Tatum screaming at his mom about the sock and needing therapy made me lose it.
Don't touch that sock. Mom.
Don't touch that sock.
Oh man. The Channing Tatum cameo was great, and so was there's a bunch of cameos, like there's Ninja in there and a bunch of other
spoilers ahead, by the way, for this and What If you haven't seen this movie or What If, see episode 1 or 2, I guess.
We really just need to put the spoiler alert in the intro video.
Yeah, I was just gonna put that in the intro from now on.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some Marvel cameos.
Yeah.
Chris Evans.
Big old Chris Evans is in there.
Mainly, and it's literally just a cutaway. Like as soon as he pulls he pulls Cap's shield out, and Chris Evans is like, "What?" And I feel like they did reshoots. Like I feel like this movie had been done, and then they did reshoots. They were like, "Well, Disney owns us now."
Because so that's why I asked last week when Disney bought Fox, because I really think Ryan Reynolds went back and did a few things, and they got the Chris Evans thing to be added on later. Because I think this movie was supposed to come out around this time last year, which means it was filmed in 2019, and I don't remember when Fox bought.
I think it was 2018, but I can't remember.
I can't remember either. But I really think that while they're like, well, the movie's shelved, Ryan Reynolds wasn't doing anything right now, so why don't we just have him come back and film extra scenes? Because not only is the Captain America shield in there, you see the Hulk fist, and then probably the coolest part of
that lightsaber
was when he busted out the lightsaber.
It was amazing.
So they clearly got permission from Disney to do this. So.
Oh yeah, I mean they literally had like the Marvel theme song, the Star Wars music. Like
during that whole little sequence, I was expecting, I don't know, some kind of like big finisher, because like Cap shield and the lightsaber.
Yeah.
And then they went to like a Fortnite pickaxe.
Oh.
And then they went with a portal gun, which not even the same type from the actual game.
Yeah, they didn't have the rights to it. Yeah.
Yeah, generic design, but I was expecting a little something, but I feel like they should have ended with a lightsaber, if anything.
Yeah. Although, and I will say, even if they hadn't been bought by Disney, they probably technically could have still used a lightsaber, because Fox made the first original trilogy.
No, yeah, maybe.
So, I feel like there's some gray area there, but Disney owns them, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I thought it was great. Christian, what do you think overall?
It's definitely one of the better, video game-esque movies I've seen. I think Ready Player One is still probably my favorite when it comes to that type of movie being made.
That's my favorite movie of all time.
I will say that this approached it through a completely different lens. This was far more like comedy and slapstick, whereas Ready Player One was more of like action adventure.
Yeah, it was way more serious tone.
But I think that's what I was trying to say last week, is that you can't really compare the two, but if you're going to, I would give it to Ready Player One. But they're almost too different to be because they're, first of all, I think they're in their own category, because they're related to video games, but they're not related to video games at the same time. It's like video game-esque, like you were saying, Christian. So you almost can't compare the two. But if you're going to, I mean, obviously Ready Player One was the more serious movie, so there was more. I'm not trying to say they didn't. How do I put this? It just had a better feel to it than the movie. I mean, comedies themselves are always a little bit iffy, because they're built around silliness. So
also with Ready Player One, they put way more effort into the movie. Not saying they didn't put effort into Free Guy, but there weren't really continuity errors in Ready Player One, and Free Guy there definitely were.
No, for sure.
The whole him kissing her and then them being like, well, that's not even possible. There's no button for that. And then literally 15 minutes. Yeah, but literally 15 minutes later, she kisses him with her character. So it's you did something you literally just said was impossible for a player to do, but cool. I think Ready Player One also had a far bigger budget.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Oh, for sure.
Don't get me wrong, Dude was hilarious.
Dude was hilarious.
But that was
it was added. I really think that part was added.
Probably.
It was just Ryan Reynolds versus himself, so they just needed a stunt double.
Yeah, and then they did a deep fake onto the stunt double with Ryan Reynolds' face.
Mm-hmm.
Catchphrase.
You're so adjective.
Yeah, I forget what it was like. I'm gonna do 3 phases or something like that, and it was, I forget what the first 2 were, but then the third one was just and third phase.
Yeah, it was second phase unknown and third phase to be determined.
Yeah. It was pretty great. I definitely it was I feel like Ready Player One, like I think you said it last week, like it was a love letter to video games and that world and their players, and I think Free Guy was just like, I don't think it's making fun of it.
No,
I think it's more celebrating and like it's poking fun, but I think it's more laughing with it than at it.
Yeah, it's poking fun, but it's just like, you guys know that this is also humorous, right?
Yeah, and
it's funny.
Like I think like that's why I say laughing with, not at, because like that stuff is, I mean, that happens. Like
I was gonna say, I feel like the core audience for this movie is also gamers.
Yeah.
So like a majority of the people paying to see this movie are gonna just be laughing at themselves.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It did feel like I was just watching if they were like, hey, let's take the script for Deadpool, make it PG-13.
Make it PG-13.
And put it in the GTA universe.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
That's what the movie was, just PG-13
Deadpool.
And Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
But so I will say, I will definitely be buying it when it comes out.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I saw that Disney already wants a sequel for it, which I really like the ending. So I feel like if it did get a sequel, it kind of it might butcher it.
Unlike,
but it has a lot of potential to not butcher it too.
I would hope that like if they do it, they kind of do like a spiritual sequel where like even Ryan Reynolds is in it, but it's not in the same like.
Yeah.
Well, I think when we were talking about it before, I was like, it'd be cool if they did if they turned it into like an RPG or something, like change the like what genre of the game it was.
That's what it is, like like an RPG or something. Like the same ilk, but like it's not.
I can see them going the MMORPG route because mainly the reason I say this is because MMORPGs, Final Fantasy XIV and World of Warcraft right now are so popular in different ways.
Yeah, that's for sure.
World of Warcraft is popular in a very negative way.
Right now.
Their president and CEO had to step down and away because there's like
sexual allegations.
Yeah, sexual
they're trending. I don't think they're necessarily popular.
Well, that's a good word. Yeah, they're both trending. But WoW is trending down, and Final Fantasy is trending up. And the two are definitely connected. Final Fantasy's always been in an upswing. But because of everything going on with WoW, there's like a mass exodus happening, and they're going to the game. So with Free Guy 2, I can almost see the people, if they bring back the main human characters, right? I can see them playing or making that type of world, like a Final Fantasy MMO, and then something happening, and then them being like, we need to get Guy to help us.
Yeah.
And then bringing Guy into it, and he's just clueless because it's, like a Japanese RPG or something like that. Like,
essentially the plot of Sword Art Online.
That was the other thing. Like, I could totally see that. So, without spoiling too much of Ready Player 2, the book, if they do make the movie, it is Sword Art Online, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
They get full dive VR, and they essentially get trapped in it. So, like, I could see that happening. If it does happen, I hope that Ready Player 2 comes out before it. Otherwise, anyone that hasn't read the books is going to think that like they're copying Free Guy, and that would definitely not be the case.
I mean, I know they already kind of did like the trope on like the RPG thing before with other movies, but I feel like, I don't know. It's gonna sound weird, but I feel like if Ryan Reynolds is involved, it might be somewhat decent because this is the second video game movie he's done that I thought like he did a pretty good job in. The other one being Detective Pikachu. So
yeah, that was really good.
So maybe he just, I don't know if Ryan Reynolds plays video games or has like a passion for these kind of things, but he clearly,
I think he's just a big nerd. I really think he's just a big nerd.
Yeah, he clearly enjoys doing this kind of thing. Free Guy was dope.
I think
so was Detective Pikachu, and he was in both of them.
Yeah,
so.
I really think it just boils down to he's a big nerd because he fought for Deadpool for years.
I think Ryan Reynolds, I hope at least, is going to be moving on to Deadpool 3.
He is. They're filming, I think, or it's in pre-production.
Yeah.
But Disney confirmed, and it will be rated R.
Cool.
So they're not gonna like Disneyfy it. They'll probably make fun of the fact that Disney bought them.
Probably.
So
I expect to see some Free Guy Detective Pikachu references in it for
I
sure.
hope so.
Oh, dude, I hope. Well, Detective Pikachu, I think, is Universal, wasn't it?
Yeah, but they could still just be like, "Hey, remember that time you voiced a funny
Mouth.
yellow rat?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say at the end of Deadpool when he's
mean,
cleaning up the timeline
he
and
did
he brought in
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
Yeah, that's true. They did make some references to that too, like make the super suit cool and not animated.
That's CGI, yeah.
So that's pretty funny. Yeah, okay, I could see it. Yeah, I think we can all agree it was pretty good, and hopefully the sequel doesn't suck.
Yeah, like I said, I'd give it a solid 7 or 8.
I think I'd give it an 8.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think the continuity issues brought it down to an 8 for me out of a 10.
I will say I want to know if you guys were like at the end when like Keys and whatever her name was. Not that I just I forget what it is. I just know that his name is Keys. Allison, I think. Sure,
Ellie?
we'll go with Allison. Sure. They're like on the road and they're like looking at each other and they're having that moment. It like went for like a really, really long time, and there were just cars zipping down the road, and I was like, please don't get hit.
100%. I was sitting there like, this is about to end with him getting hit by a car.
Yeah. It was like he's gonna die.
I was like, they're legit about to make a callback to when Guy got hit by a car, and just end this movie on him getting hit by a car.
And it doesn't.
And it doesn't. Yeah, I was waiting for it.
My anxiety. I was like, either cut away or go.
Yeah. Oh man. Nope. I was definitely waiting for that, for sure. All right. So the main topic of the evening is What If, episode 2.
The TV show, not the Panic Attack. I already made that joke, but I think it's funny.
And this episode was definitely, I think, in my opinion, it was better than the first one. So far, it's been my favorite. I think.
There's only been 2 episodes, but okay.
Well, I'm saying it's better than the first one. I think this is my favorite episode, or just Marvel thing in general, in a while. But it focuses around T'Challa, aka Black Panther. It's also the last thing Chadwick Boseman did before he passed away. And it's essentially the what if T'Challa became Star-Lord. And it's very different from the Guardians of the Galaxy that we knew. Like they don't have like the crew that they normally did. Like he hired the guy that worked for Ronan in the very beginning. I still don't remember his name. The guy with the metal stuff on his head. But he just instantly fell in love with him. And knew who he was, as opposed to like not knowing who Star-Lord was.
Also, apparently, T'Challa is the answer to all the problems in the universe.
Yeah,
Thanos to join his squad.
Thanos was on his side. T'Challa just talked some sense into him, and Thanos was like, he's still all about that genocide, but
yeah. That little scene at the end is like, my friend, I think what you're talking about is genocide. He's like, no, it's random. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's random, so it's okay.
That's still genocide, but it's effective.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that, like, even though like T'Challa clearly convinces Thanos to not do the snap or like in search for the Infinity Stones, that like he still secretly kind of wants to do it.
I was gonna say he jokes about it a little too much.
Yeah,
I think
to
it's
still
like,
be interested.
It's like he still definitely probably would if he had all of them, but I don't think he's like ever gonna actively seek them, which is why they were like, you want to keep when they had the the Power Stone, they were like, let's keep this away from Thanos just in case.
Yeah,
we won't tell him what's in it. But that was I thought it was pretty good. I don't know how I felt about the Collector being like absurdly buff.
Well, I mean, it's explained that when Thanos was decided on, I'm not going to be Thanos anymore, that there was a power vacuum and he kind of stepped in and became the new big baddie.
This episode is like 10 times better than the first one.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have any issues. Like the whole voice syncing thing that I had problems with before, like it was non-apparent in this one.
Yeah, I tried keeping an eye out for this one, and I didn't really notice it.
I didn't have any issues with it.
Yeah.
My biggest problem was that there were no fish jokes.
I appreciated that, honestly.
I was waiting for him. I was like, please.
This is also Christian's favorite episode because there's no fish jokes.
So, I honestly, this episode was better than the first. I think, in my opinion, mainly just because it wasn't like a beat for beat redo of something that already exists in the MCU.
It was a total
this was actually a
reimagining.
What if scenario where the characters literally replaced one another and created an alternate timeline, whereas the first one was just switching out Steve Rogers. And that was it. The story is basically the same with the exception of
like the Iron Man suit or whatever, but like
that was my major critique, I think, about the first episode. Was just like, I hope the show just isn't like, it's essentially gonna be pretty much what happened but slightly different because there's a different person involved. That's what the first episode led me to believe. But like within the first like 5 minutes of this episode, like, no, it's different. And it looked like without Black Panther, like at least it was implied that like the Avengers lose because like the Collector had like Mjolnir and Captain America's shield and like even like Hela's like
helmet
antler thing, like he gets everybody if T'Challa isn't part of the Avengers essentially.
I when it showed his like necklace, I was secretly hoping for like a Black Panther outfit or suit to pop up, but
like I was really hoping because at one point she was it Nebula that was like he keeps it close to his chest, and I was like, oh, please tell me it's in the necklace. Please tell me it's in the necklace.
I guess if they did that though, that would kind of like go against the whole story. It's signed up, especially like when he found the Wakandan ship. I was like, this is like, there's got to be something in here that like gives him the suit or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I was really hoping for it.
I love how it insinuated at the very end of this episode that if Peter Quill didn't get kidnapped, that his destiny is just to work at Dairy Queen.
But I don't know if, it was definitely the end of this one that like, and this is why I'm a little bit curious about the episodes going forward, that like there might be some continuity between episodes because at the end Ego shows up to find Peter at the Dairy Queen. As Christian mentioned.
They're all canon to the MCU universe, so
he just goes so because it's like one family reunion because eventually at the end T'Challa finds T'Chaka and he goes back to Wakanda, which was not destroyed even though he was lied to by Yondu. Which was great to see Yondu again. I'm glad he didn't die. He goes back, so it's like from one family union to another, and then the episode ends with Peter Quill finding Ego, and then just go, but more on that later.
No, I think there will be some continuation there.
I remember seeing Kurt Russell's name popping up in the opening credits, which after that episode, I kind of wish the opening credits weren't there because like I saw Josh Brolin, I was like, okay, so Thanos is in this.
I saw Kurt Russell, but I didn't see Josh Brolin, so Thanos surprised me.
Thanos surprised me. Ego did not.
Yeah, Ego didn't surprise me.
I will say I didn't expect Thanos to be a technical good guy.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that either, but that was pretty great.
Yeah, that made the episode for me.
No, but
and he has a good relationship with at least Nebula. You don't really know what happened.
Yeah, that's another thing. I did not know that was Nebula when she first showed up.
It took me a minute.
Some random alien lady.
Yeah. Nope. And you didn't see Gamora.
Nope.
You'll see her later.
Yeah.
You did see Drax though. It was great that Drax was just the bartender.
I think that this is going to
I'm glad his family's okay.
I think it's going to continue and tie into the story. I think it's going to tie into a couple because I know that there was like a scene where Gamora was like the Mad Titan. So I have a feeling that that's part of this universe, and it might tie into the whole Ego Peter Quill thing. So like, I can see them doing spinoffs in this universe too. But it's all canon to the MCU. So this stuff could happen in the mainline movies. They could bring Mad Titan Gamora and other versions.
I love the little cheesy scene where he's like, she said I can't remember exactly what she said, but then Thanos was like, "No, I'm mad."
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
just
She's
let it
like,
go.
she called him crazy. He was like, I'm not
Yeah,
crazy.
that's what it was.
I'm mad.
I was like, that means he's the Mad Titan.
Yeah.
It was very much a callback. I almost feel to like the first Avengers movie when like the Hulk's like, "That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
those kind of moments where like he turns around, like, "I'm not crazy. I'm mad."
It was really cool watching Thanos just kind of like kick butt with no armor and stuff, and
Well, he's supposed to be on his own stronger than the Hulk.
yeah,
Like in the comics, like the one little bit of information I knew about Thanos is that he was the reason that Rhodey was paralyzed, not like Tony Stark. Like Thanos punches Rhodey so hard in the chest that like his spine cracks and breaks, and like the back of the Iron Patriot suit blows out. Like it was a whole thing.
In the Infinity War, you know, he totally like knocks out the Hulk.
Yeah.
Like he gives him the old 2-piece thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought I read an article a while back where I thought the Hulk was stronger, but Thanos is more well trained, so like he was able to outmaneuver Hulk, not overpower him.
Maybe.
But I might be wrong.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'd believe he's probably stronger and just has better.
Yeah, I think
battle
it's
prowess.
both, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what this week brings.
Yeah, this episode was much better.
Oh, yeah.
I wish that they had kind of reversed the order of these two. I mean, I would have probably been way more disappointed in the first
Yeah.
episode if I had this one first, but like I also would have been way more excited for this series if this episode was first.
I have a feeling
true.
their logic was it was the first Avenger.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
I wish they gave like a little teaser or something like at the end of it. They're like, "Hey, here's what you can expect for the next one."
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
at least the title of it or something.
Well, I know that like there's a Tony Stark episode where he meets Killmonger.
Yeah, Killmonger
And-
saves him so he doesn't become Iron Man, or maybe he does, but
Yeah,
in a different way.
maybe.
Like I don't know.
I know, yeah, that one's still coming up. There's the Gamora one, the Spider-Man, and the cloak.
And then there's
The zombie one.
The zombie one.
There's also one that I've seen where it looks like Vision's wearing Ultron as armor.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's like if
So-
if Ultron actually succeeded, I think is the idea. Like
Yeah.
if that body hadn't got taken and then turned into Vision.
That'd be kind of cool.
So
Yeah.
And what if is like because I was not very excited for the whole What If series, but like if there's more episodes like this one, I will be pleased.
Yeah, that was great.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, unless you gents have anything to add at the end.
No, I'm good.
No? All right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed listening. So thanks. Please tune in for future episodes. If you need to get a hold of us, you can check us out on Facebook or our YouTube channel. You can go to our website at skoentertainment.net, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if it was .com or .net. .net has our email. You can send us an email if you want to reach out. But yeah, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and join us next week because even on the best of days, we all need some kind of entertainment. See you guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
See ya.